trust your day has been going greatly. So in just one word, can you just describe what your week has been like? In just one word, in the chat and the comment section, just drop what has your week been like? How has your week been? I'm sure we're already adjusting to the fuel subsidy removal and all. Arit Warika says hectic. So sorry about that, Arit. I'm sure traffic, that's part of what we've experienced. So sorry about that. Who else? One word, productive. Princess Isu says productive. Amazing, great. That's nice. It's good to hear. HR people need to be productive. Taiwo says roller coaster. Oh my goodness. We hope you're able to manage a roller coaster at work. Who else? Who else? Just one word to describe your week. Let's hear it. Let's see it. We've seen productive. We've seen hectic, roller coaster. I think mine too. Productive and busy. From one project to the other. But we're grateful it's a Friday and we're glad we're here to unwind together. Anybody else who wants to just let us know how their week was, how Victoria Bimbola said he gets as he be. So sorry, Victoria. The Lord is your strength. And that's why we're constantly in this community to inspire, to encourage each other. So please ensure you're active in your various groups. It's really important. Okay, so I'm going to dive right away. And my week was productive. Awesome, greatness. Glad to hear that. I've seen you productive this week, and that's great news. Glad the week has been productive. Okay, so we're diving in right away. And I know we know why we're here. We're here for the Thought Leadership Series. And we're having Oluyemi Adeosun, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun, speak to us on moving from vision to execution, designing and implementing effective HR initiatives. Amazing topic. I can't wait for us to listen to our speaker and hear from him. But before we dive in, I just want to quickly read his profile. So please bear with me while I read his profile. Top performing, accomplished and skilled human resource executive and researcher with over 16 plus years of experience across high profile industries, including power, oil and gas, telecommunication, broadcasting, real estate, advertising, academia, consulting and volunteer work, offers professional expertise and a diverse range of skills within training and development, organization strategy development, business partnership, change management, employees relationship management, and administrative expert HR. He has a YouTube channel. You need to check his YouTube channel. It is filled with a lot of content that you will enjoy relating and mingling with you. It's a school on its own. YouTube channel with over 2,500 followers, which focuses on HR domain knowledge and career development. He's also the pioneer of HR Mentorship, a group of over 2,700 HR professionals. Wow. He's the member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. He's the member of the Governing Council of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Senior Professional Human Resource International, SPHRI, Global Practitioner Human Resources, GPHRI, PhD candidate, Obafemi Awolowo University, MSc Economics, University of Lagos, BSc in Economics, University of Ilorin. His current role, he is the head Human Resources Eternal PLC. He's had previous roles as well, group head, Global Accelerex Holdings, Ikeja Electric, head Human Resource and Administrative Korea Plus, head Human Resources Technology Distribution Limited, head Shared Services Field Code Limited. He also has experience in consulting and HR experience at Globalcom Telecommunication. He's the member of the Toastmaster International and have attained the highest award of Distinguished Toastmaster, published 42 papers in reputable journals. Can I see in the chat? I want to see your hands jamming for our speaker tonight. Did you just hear what I read? The profile is amazing. Please just jam your hands together. I can see the stars. I can see people clapping. I can see, please just welcome our speaker tonight as I welcome Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun. Over to you, sir. We'd like to hear from you.
Thank you so much.
Us.
Thank you for that introduction. That was Fantastic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to be here this evening. It's a privilege and also a pleasure to be able to share some knowledge and insights with all of us today. Again, reach out to 1 or 2 people to join this live session. It's going to be more than worth it. We have started this series sharing about insights and thoughts from a leadership perspective, human resources. And the topic we are looking at today, from vision to execution, designing and implementing effective HR initiative. Why this topic? Sometimes what separates successful organization from less than successful organization is the quality of their vision. Some other time, it is not the quality of a vision. The quality of visions may be at par, may be the same. However, the quality of execution matters. Somebody may have 10 ideas. Another person may have 3 ideas. The person with 3 ideas, if you are more thorough with your execution, you may have greater outcomes and success than someone with 10 ideas. So that's why I said, let us look at this topic. Let us dissect it so that we can be able to add phenomenal value to each other. All right. So designing and implementing effective HR initiatives. The course content will look at introduction, significance of effective HR initiatives, purpose of HR initiatives within an organization, successful HR initiatives implemented, look at some examples. We'll look at how to do evaluation and feedback and how to look at key metrics and indicators. Now, with respect to this topic, I would like to ask us, where does initiative come from? HR initiative. Please, this is an interactive class, so I need you in the chat box to respond to my questions and my prompts. Okay, let's pretend that we have 63 AIs on this group. I hope somebody knows what I'm talking about. When you enter a prompt into an AI, the AI will respond to you if there is no network failure or downtime. So let's respond, and we are even more intelligent than AI, okay? What bats HR initiatives? Where are the sources of HR initiative? Talk to me in the chat box. I am sure everybody here at one point or the other, or even right now, we are running some HR initiatives as we speak. What battered it? What motivated it? Why did you start it? I need to see at least 50 different sources and reasons why we have HR initiatives. Let me just say also quickly, for the purpose of tonight's conversation, that I'll be using the word initiative, projects, and programs interchangeably. For the purpose of tonight's conversation, it means the same thing. So when I say HR initiative, or I say HR program, or I say HR project, okay, or even HR activities in certain instances. So all the programs, all the projects, all the initiatives, why did you start them? Why did you start them? So I'll quickly look at some of the comments I can see here. So I've seen things around, corporate organizational goals. So in other words, HR initiatives were conceptualized so that corporate organizational goals will be achieved. Fantastic. I can see here to foster employee engagement, very fundamental. To also manage humans in the organization, fantastic. Organizational strategic plan, okay, thank you. Let's keep our thoughts and comments coming. I can see organizational mission. I can see expansion plan, organizational vision. Let's keep it coming. We are running this together tonight. We are talking about translating HR initiatives into well-executed items. Fantastic, fantastic. Now I need to see simpler reasons. I don't want you to be complicated. The simpler the reason, the better. Okay, thank you so much. To address process and people inefficiencies or gap. Okay, somebody is saying wahala here is part of the reason. I understand. For those who are not in this part of the world, wahala simply means problem. And it says for team building and team bonding. Let's keep it coming. Okay, let's keep it coming. Now, you will agree with me that in today's world, the business landscape is changing. and it's changing continuously. As we're having this conversation, it is still changing. Okay, people is the most valuable asset. This is a statement that was said yesterday. This is a statement that is being said today. And this is a statement that will be said tomorrow. Some people will say it is a cliche. Some people will say it is not a cliche. However you look at it, people will always remain valuable, because across the entire business value chain, you interact with people. Your employees are people, your board, they are people, your customers, they are people, the regulators, they are people, your neighbors, they are people, the competitors, they are people. So people will always be involved. People will always be around what you are doing. The success of any organization hinges upon what? The collective efforts and the what? The potential of the employees. Even if you are working in a one-man business, he is part of your employee. He's also part of the people. Okay, so all the collective efforts, okay, is very important. Some of us today, we only have a job because somebody had a vision and translated that vision into action. Some other people too will get jobs tomorrow because where we are working today, we'll continue to grow the vision and translate it into outcomes. So how we build, okay, the HR initiatives is what determines how much of a difference the organization can make. Okay, and that is why we are looking at this. Now, what are some of the purpose of HR initiative? In the question I asked us earlier, I could already see to a large extent that we had almost covered all the reasons, what potential reason. Let me say this. First and foremost, there are different HR initiatives and programs that cut across the entire HR value chain. And to simplify it, the HR value chain starts from where? Attraction of competent employees to exit of the employees, irrespective of the mode of exit. And everything that happens between when we attract, recruit the employee, and when they exit the organization, there are typically multiple HR programs, HR initiatives that we will be running. Most often than not, we'll be running multiple initiatives concurrently. Most often than not, as an initiative is coming to an end, another initiative will be in midstream. Another initiative will be in the periphery, which means concurrently, we are working with programs. We are working with projects. We are working with what? Initiative. But just to highlight a few areas, talent acquisition and recruitment, very key. There are several things we do as an organization, as HR, that ensures we are able to what? Attract qualified candidates who can align with the company's culture, values, skills, and requirements. There are initiatives we need to run to enable this. There are also initiatives we need to run, okay, that will enhance the value of our employee onboarding and orientation. Again, note, not one initiative, multiple initiatives. There are initiatives you will run to help you with employee development and training. Multiple. So for example, you can have a mentorship scheme, is an initiative or a program. You can have a coaching scheme, is an initiative or program. You can have knowledge sharing session, is an initiative or a program. Are we together? There are also initiatives, programs, and assignments that you can run around performance management and appraisal. Many of us alluded to this earlier in our conversation today. Employee engagement and well-being. Well-being, for example, just for example, you may have things around aerobics at work, healthy eating. You may have things around work-life balance. All these initiatives and programs, directly or indirectly, impact upon the well-being of your employees. You can have initiatives around your compensation and benefits. It's initiatives that you will put in place to ensure fair and equitable compensation structure. For example, if in your organization, you set up a cooperative society, directly or indirectly, we are impacting on the financial well-being of your what? Of your employees. You are impacting on their capacity to save, capacity to maybe borrow money at a reduced rate, and capacity to what? To invest. There are also initiatives, for example, programs that you can have around employee relations and conflict resolution. So when you do things like town hall meeting, when you do things like knowledge sharing around your policies and so on and so forth, when you are communicating and you have programs and initiatives already, what you are doing that you may not be conscious of is that those programs are preventing future issues, future challenges, future problems. Because if you are not disseminating information as I went you, if you don't enlighten your members of staff, what will you end up with? Conflict or more conflict. So today you may be battling with one or two conflicts. If not for your proactiveness with the deployment of certain initiatives, certain programs, perhaps you'll be dealing with 12 conflicts. Okay, all right. So let's continue here. Successful in HR initiative. I want to show us a few examples, but before I proceed, let me quickly state this here right now. Okay, you see, it's one thing to have an initiative, is yet another thing to make that initiative a massive success. Now, let me say this here clearly. I've encountered quite a number of HR colleagues. When you look at their initiative, in itself, the initiative is good, but we do not take the time and the pain to optimize the results of this initiative. And I'll give you an example, very simple example. I'll use a very recent initiative. Quite a number of us did something around the International Women's Day. So in the chat box where you worked, or if you did something for International Women's Day, just say yes, yes in the chat box. I want to see if this is an example I should use. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, do you know that there are some people, maybe a few days to the International Women's Day, what did they do? They'll just do a flyer and say, all staff, join a webinar. Then they invite someone to join. But do you know that there are certain people, maybe 2 months before the International Women's Day, one, they started creating awareness about International Women's Day. They started doing maybe featuring one woman per week, like an interview with photo shoots. They started doing, so like 2 months before the International Women's Day, they were conscious, doing things, programs, initiatives to support women, encourage women, inspire women to speak around the success story. Now, are you with me? International Women's Day is one day, but 1 month or 2 months before, a lot of things could have been done. Then what you do on that International Women's Day, but it doesn't end there. There are some organizations, 1 month post International Women's Day, they are still now showing snippets of the program, highlights of the program, lessons from the program, quotes from the program. In other words, a program that can be one day, you can stretch it for 4 months. Not because you are not doing other things, but you are trying to ensure that the full value from that program is what is realized. So there is a before the program, there is a during the program, and there is an after the program. If you are taking note, write that now. Before the program, during the program, post the program. For one person on this course today, that may be the only thing you need to do differently. Maybe you already have brilliant initiatives, but you are not stretching the value of those programs, which means you must have communication plan. What are the different ways you will communicate this program? Do you need to do emails, flyers, pictures, audio, video? Do you need to do animation, cartoon? Do you need to use notice board, SMS messaging, and so on and so forth? Communication is what is very, very key, as in very, very critical. Post-communication, communication during it, and communication after. Another thing I would like to say at this intersection is that you need to get the buy-in of your relevant stakeholders. And I'll quickly tell you some period when you should get this buy-in. For example, when you are budgeting for a financial year, that is a good opportunity to get buy-in. By the time we're approaching, say, October, November, most organizations will be in the budget cycle. In some organizations right now, you are doing mid-year appraisals. You could also be doing mid-year budget review. If you have the opportunity, at the point you are defending your budget, you should have fleshed out the budget with the different HR initiatives. Why? You are not just trying to get their buy-in for funding, you're also getting buy-in for the concept. So that when it's time to roll out in phases a particular or a specific initiative, not only do you get the finance of the organization, you are also able to pull the key opinion leaders into it. Can you imagine? You choose a wellness initiative, maybe last Friday of the month, 4 p.m., you want to do aerobics. And then you see that Friday morning, maybe your CEO or your CFO or a key decision maker even wears tracksuit to the office and goes round the office and say, hey guys, hope to see you at the aerobic center by 4 p.m. What will happen? HR will not need to talk too much. Everybody will get the message. Let me use one example. Maybe the exit to the organization is where you now decide to do the aerobics, and then the CEO or CFO or any other C-level official is already, it's prompt. How you want to take, say you won't go home, in quote, of course, it's not by force, but a greater level of adherence will be observed. Now, let's look at a few sample initiatives. I need to also say this at this point, okay, that the simplest of initiative can be massive. I'll say that again. The simplest of initiatives can be massive. And I say this very respectfully, at least all of us can relate. You know what the major news outlets has focused on in the last few days? They call it what? Submersible. Look at it. What's a submersible? Just a small tube that can contain 4, 5, 3 people. If you look at the concept and the engineering, why will people pay $250,000 dollars to enter it? It is because some people were able to conceptualize it and glamorize it. In other words, if you take any concept in HR, any program, any initiative, no matter how simple it is, you can package it that it will become a bestseller. Again, it is important you are able to identify initiatives that are what? That are audacious, that will wow your constituents, that will wow your stakeholders. The first initiative we'll be looking at here is Google's 20% time. Note, I'm not sharing any of the examples I'm putting forward today so that you will copy it. If you copy it, you didn't get it. Okay, it's just to show that if you look inward, if you dig deep, there will be something you can extract from your organization today, and then you can push out there. Google had a simple initiative among many others, 20% time. Google's famous initiative allows employees to spend 20% of their work time on any project of their choice, unrelated to their core job responsibilities. This initiative has resulted into what? Groundbreaking innovations. Examples include Gmail, examples include Google News, and this initiative is doing what? Demonstrating the power of fostering creativity and giving employees the freedom to explore their passion. Now, I know some of you say, oh, if I do this, my employees will be doing their own PP. My employees will be doing something totally irrelevant to the organization. What you may not realize is, let's assume you have 100 staff. Yes, some staff will do something that may not necessarily benefit the organization at the end of the day. But if only 20 staff do something that will benefit the organization, the potential returns and rewards will outweigh the passiveness or the irrelevant 80%. You know, sometimes in HR, when you want to do something, you think because everybody will not participate, You think because everybody will not contribute, you now refuse to do it. Don't forget the Pareto principle. If you unleash the creativity of 20% of the organization, especially the right 20%, it will overcompensate for the inadequacy of the other 80. Google's famous initiative. Before I move to the next initiative, in the chat box, I want you to drop in the chat box any groundbreaking initiative you have done this year, last year. It doesn't matter whether you are the one that conceptualized it or maybe you are part of the HR team. As much as possible, you can use the code name you called the initiative, but use one phrase or one line to let us understand the concept. You just saw right now, Google's 20% time off. I need you to drop, and why am I getting us to drop this initiative? I want people to be able to do what? Copy. I want us to be able to, have an avalanche of initiatives so that next week at work, nobody here must struggle to be able to deploy 1 or 2 or 3 new things. Temitayo Samuel says here, job shadow exercise. I can imagine how much you can do with a job shadow. That is fantastic. Let's keep the initiative coming up because I'll come back to it in a bit. Already, I can see mentoring program. I can see launch hour games. I can see health work for all staff. Thank you so much, Sheyi Adegbola. I can see football matches between key staff and casual staff. Okay, I can see games and chocolates at the office. Keep the initiative coming. I have right now on this call over 90 people. I need 90 initiatives. I won't stop until I get it. Let's keep the initiatives coming. Another initiative I'm going to share with us quickly is something that Netflix came up with. I know somebody will say, oh, this cannot happen in Nigeria. And I get where you are coming from. What was Netflix's initiative? Unlimited vacation policy. Hello? Are you still there? Can you imagine? Today, some of us will say, even the 20 days leave, even the 25 days leave, the 27 days leave, people are struggling to utilize it in some organization. People are struggling to use half of it in some organization. Can you imagine in the 21st century, a company, HR, came up with an initiative of what? Unlimited vacation policy. Again, I mentioned to you that sometimes your initiative must be what? Audacious. People should hear it sometimes and say, really? You did what? Meanwhile, keep your initiatives coming. I'm looking for 96 initiatives right now because we are 96 on this call. What did Netflix do? They implemented a unique approach to vacation time by adopting an unlimited vacation policy. This initiative trusts employees to manage their own time off, promoting what? Work-life balance and autonomy, while what? Please pay attention. While what? Emphasizing results and performance rather than hours worked. Can you see that? Yes, the initiative is unlimited vacation policy, but what was the objective of the initiative? Results, performance, rather than presenteeism, rather than Oga day work. Sometimes I joke, especially traditional people who think you must be physically in the office for you to be working. They don't know that there are people who are physically in the office using the office internet to freelance and do their own PP. What initiative have you done personally? What initiative have you been part of the team that did it? What initiative are you thinking about? Now, another thing that will happen to you right away, if you've been following this session, is that some strange initiatives will be coming to your heart, will be coming to your mind. I know you want to make it a secret, but do us a favor, drop it in the chat box. Any idea as we started today's conversation that you might never have done it, it may even appear strange to you, but type it in the chat box. Don't be selfish. Don't keep that idea to yourself only. Let everybody on this call tonight, let all of us benefit. What idea has come into your heart? Because it's one thing to attend a webinar. It's one thing to listen to Oluyemi Adeosun. It's one thing to listen to any of our thought leaders. What matters is the action you're able to take after. Okay, I need us to revamp the quality of our HR programs and initiatives. Okay, now let's look at another example from another organization. Microsoft, they have what they call 1 week hackathon. Note, all these initiatives I'm sharing with you are HR initiatives. What was Microsoft's initiative? 1 week hackathon. What do they do here? Microsoft holds an annual week-long company-wide hackathon where employees from various departments and teams, they do what? Collaborate on innovative projects and what? Prototypes. This initiative promotes cross-functional collaboration. Cross-functional means across teams, across departments, across job roles, across grades. It promotes what? Creativity. It promotes what? Exploration of new ideas. What does it lead to? Breakthrough innovations within the organization. So in other words, once a week, everybody who enrolls and lists for the program, you abstain from your regular programming, you abstain from your regular office work, and you focus the hackathon. You may join the hackathon as an individual entry or as a team of people. It doesn't matter. Guess what happens? You get an outburst of ideas. You get an outburst of insights. Of course, a lot of solutions that these companies come through with is from this hackathon. The hackathon will provide solutions to organizational problems, process problems, customer problems, internal problems, recreational problems, and so on and so forth. Again, I want to ask you, what programs have you developed? Have you conceptualized? Have you initiated? I go back to the chat box. I can see here, someone says, Dorcas says, she came up with, or our team came up with an onboarding body program. It's something I've done where I've worked before, and it was excellent. That helps new employees to do what? Settling, and they sort of have a kind of mentor or collaborator, somebody to help them settle in. Okay, EKY, knowledge sharing, also LD talk and therapy. Okay, Adenike Lawaya says employee appreciation day. Okay, spotlight on an employee once in a month. Fantastic. Charity, I like this. And today's a good day for this. Barbecue night. Again, the concept doesn't need to look academic. The concept doesn't need to look serious. Once well implemented, you will be shocked at how great insights, solutions, ideas can be batted. You won't believe it. Your initiative can be around your lunch hour, can be around your breakfast, it can be around dinner, it can be anything. Okay, I'm still going through. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Iyabo Oyetunji. Group knowledge sharing on Fun Fridays. Pair two staff from different departments to come up with a topic and teach each other. That's fantastic. Now, one thing you all also notice that some of this initiative does not require money. Some initiatives, you will not spend any money at all. You just need to be what? Innovative and resourceful. Some initiative, what will happen is that it will cost you a little money. Some initiative will cost you some good money. Some initiative will cost you a lot of money. Whether it will cost you a lot of money, some money, good money, no money, the most important resource is the thoughtfulness. Are we together? And that is why it is not the type of initiative that will matter at the end of the day. It is how you are able to evaluate the initiative. It is how you are able to manage the initiatives. It is how you are able to what? Evolve with the initiative. Now, before I continue in this line of thought, I have another question that I need immediate response to. Now I'm prompting you. I need you to respond. Who can give you an idea. How can you get ideas for initiative? How? Emphasis is on how, okay? Tell me the sources of initiative. How can you get ideas for initiative? I need your response quickly. Okay, fantastic. Omoeza David says you can get initiative from employee performance. I agree. Oh, thank you so much. I'm loving what I'm saying. Quite a number of people are unanimous on this, that you can get the initiative from the employees themselves. In other words, let me amplify that in the next 1 to 2 minutes. You can either ask the employees and say, please, so suggest initiatives. You can deploy or develop, say, a Google form or a survey, and you say, give us initiative. I remember once, I just sent a mail to all staff. Of course, I use the blind copy function so that they don't reply or say, is there any initiative you've been thinking about? Tell me about it. Also, if you'll be willing to help in the implementation, tell me about it. You won't believe the number of initiatives I got in 24 hours. Some required no money. Some required little money. Of course, some required a lot of money. Fantastic. Ask the employees themselves. There are different ways, and I will show you us in a bit. But let me pick another source that I like here. I can see 2 sources I fell in love with. Ray says you can get initiatives from reading. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can get initiatives from reading. Abiola Tejumola also says here, and I agree completely, brainstorming. In other words, let's say you are a team of 3 or a team of 10, call your colleagues together and brainstorm. The process of brainstorming, what will happen? You will get initiative. Mojisola Olubomo says, World Days. What does she mean by World Days? So typically, almost every day is known for something. So if you check things like United Nations Global Calendar, you see Tuberculosis Day, Love Day, Day for the Sick, Day for the Blind, Day for the Eyes Open. They are too much. Days to listen, Friendship Day, Appreciation Day. If you check those global calendars, of course, you don't have to do everything. You cannot do everything. You can see 1 or 2 in a month that you want to align with. Someone says you can also get ideas from what international best practice. I like what Adenike Lawal says here. She said you can get ideas from what? Random occurrences in the office. So there are some HR initiative. It will come through an unconscious moment. You are not planning or soliciting or eliciting for an idea. You are just listening randomly, and somebody will joke about something, and you will turn the joke to what? Action. Somebody says here, data from survey. Fantastic, Teresa. Someone says here, focus group. Please, let's keep at it. Oh, Yabo, Yetunji, chop noku. Somebody says here, especially Yabo, that you can get ideas from this kind of webinar that is ongoing right now. Of course, everybody must pick an idea today before they leave. And from any of the thought sessions we have done so far and will still do throughout this program. Again, when you start a program, it's one thing to start a program, it's another thing to sustain it. It's another thing to improve it. So you may, no matter how you plan, no matter how you conceptualize, after you have commenced the program, there will be need to what? Review it. And then you can begin to identify areas of what? Improvement. Now, there is one, multiple models, but I'll give you one model that a lot of us should be familiar with. It is called the ADDIE model. A stands for what? Analysis. D, design. D, develop. Okay. I, implement. The E, ADDIE. The E stands for what? Evaluation. So you may conceptualize a program, an initiative, because you did some form of analysis. But at the end of the day, you must do what? You must what? Evaluate it. When you evaluate, when you measure effectiveness, you'll be able to get further ideas you can use to do what? To tweak it, to fine-tune it, to modify it. Okay. Now let's look at some methods for continuous evaluation and feedback. Again, one key reason why some of us, even though we've had great ideas, great initiatives. Why we were not able to optimize it is because we did not deploy this. We've mentioned this, surveys and questionnaires. Anything you do in HR, please get a feedback. Just put your mind, on the average, when you go for any training, what happens most of the time at the end of the training? There's a short, what do you call it now, survey to say, oh, does the presenter or facilitator demonstrate knowledge of the subject matter? On a scale of 1 to 5, how will you rate the knowledge sharing? On a scale of 1 to 5, how interactive was the program? Anything you do in HR too, as much as possible, get a feedback. When you do TGIF, get a feedback. The HMO you are using, get a feedback. If you use a venue for something, get a feedback. Okay, you do performance appraisal, get a feedback. The feedback can be formal, it can be informal. It can be short, 5 questions. Okay, it can be forms that people will fill. It can be questions that you ask. Oh, if you run a canteen in the office, get a feedback. If you are using different vendors for different things in your office, get feedback. Survey and questionnaire. Feedback can also be what? 360. So don't just get feedback from one dimension. For one reason, that 360 concept makes sense. Senior people, they will see it in different ways. People at par with you will probably see it in different ways. People who are junior to you will see it in different ways. Outsourced staff will probably see it in different ways. Core staff will probably see it in different ways. Junior staff will probably see it in different ways. Get 360-degree feedback. Again, for any initiative you are deploying at any point in time, always identify upfront, how are we going to determine success? How are we going to determine progress? What must we do to know we are succeeding? As much as possible, make it numerical, as much as possible. You don't want to end the program and they will say, was that program a success? And you say yes, and they say, how do you know? As you are conceptualizing the initiative and programs, you must also pari passu put how it will be measured, how it will be evaluated. If you want to even put yourself on the high rows, you even communicate that upfront. Make sure you communicate. Make sure that you do regular review evaluation meetings, focus groups and interviews. And you can use one of these methods, 2 of these methods, or these methods at different times within the life cycle of the program or initiative. Again, don't forget, most likely you'll be running multiple initiatives at the same time. Let's look at some key metrics and indicators to assess the success of HR initiative as we begin to wind down on today's conversation. Again, most of the time, any initiative you do, no matter what it is, should have some form of impact on employee engagement. It should have some impact on employee emotional connection. It should have some impact on employee motivation. It should have some impact on employee commitment. You know, back in the days, many organizations used to have things like staff club. What happens in those staff club? After work, the men typically, and some ladies, they club, they unwind, they gist, they play drafts. Then what's happened? The wives become friends. They typically live in an estate. The children grow up together. Guess what? When these people now get new job opportunities in other organizations, some of the time, it's their spouses and children that say, Daddy, you cannot go. Why? An initiative of work has built a bond among the employees. Even though the new job is paying 30% more, 50% more, for emotional reasons, you will find it difficult to leave. Retention rates. Most likely, your HR initiative should be able to either sustain a retention rate or achieve a retention rate that is reasonable. In other words, things like your turnover rate, things like your capacity to attract and retain talent, things like job satisfaction, things like positive work environment. In other words, your HR initiatives, for example, should reduce, if not eliminate, toxicity at the workplace. Your HR initiatives should speak to things and enhance your capacity to fill vacancies quickly. speak to talent acquisition. Should also speak to the quality of hires you are able to attract and employ. Some of the things your HR initiative should also help you with is diversity. You should be able to have a balanced, when I say balance, gender balance, age balance, idea balance, those kind of things. You should also see that the number of applicants, indicating interest in your open roles should be increasing because you are churning out different programs, different initiatives. It should also speak to what? Productivity and performance. So your goal achievement rates, how many of your employees are high flyers? How many of your employees are satisfactory? How many of them are above satisfactory? When you put some of these programs together, what does it do? It helps people to rejuvenate. It helps people to be creative. It helps people to be what? Productive. Both at individual and team level. You see, when you do some seemingly informal programs, what happens? People who will not on a good day talk to themselves, they become more familiar. It breaks the ice. They are able to approach each other to consult, to get ideas or get advice, and there's less friction in the team, and then you get more productivity. Employee well-being, stress level should ordinarily reduce. Where I work today, almost every Thursday, we play football in the evening. Most of the time, no man that plays football is absent on Thursday. Why? Even if they don't want to work, they won't want to miss the football in the evening. Also, things like employee assistance program, you begin to check it. How are people, utilizing it? As I wind down, and then we can go to question and answers, and of course, contributions and comments. When people are financially invested, what do? They want a return on their investment. But when people are emotionally invested, they want to do what? They want to what? Contribute. All these HR programs will help us to, 1, attract quality employees, 2, retain quality employees, 3, motivate quality employees. At this time, I would like to throw it open to questions, comments, contributions. Olushola, you have the program back.
Wow, wow, wow. Can you please, I can see it. Wow, greatness. You took the words out of my mouth. Can you please jam your hands together for our early attendees? I told you when I read Mr. Oluyemi's profile that we're in for an amazing evening, and I can attest to it. Gosh, so much wisdom, so much practicality, and there's really so much that you can take hold of and take into the organizations that you're currently in. So we're currently at the session where we're going to ask questions, and I am sure, Mr. Oluyemi, the chat room is buzzing. Great one. Thank you, sir. Fantastic. Very loaded. You can use that word. Yes, that word. Very, very loaded. So we're going now to the question session, Q&A session. Can you please raise your hands if you would like to ask questions? And you can as well use the chat room and post your questions. So please, if you like to ask questions, kindly raise your hand so we can ask you to unmute. You can as well use the chat room as well. I'm still seeing a number of appreciations coming. Amazing session, sir. Thank you so much. I already have penned down a number of initiatives I'm going to put across and recommend for a number of the clients that I work with. And really, this is amazing. It seems very grandeur, big, but you broke it down to the simplest steps for us to be able to ensure that we can use within our organization. So I just want to find out who has questions. If you have any question, can you please raise your hand, use the hand raise button, or send your question within the chat room. I'm not seeing any hand raised. Thank you, sir. We're still seeing a lot of appreciation. Well done. Thank you. Nobody's raising their hand. Are you saying you don't have questions? He's a very busy person. So please, let's maximize this time that we have with him before he was okay. I see Princess Isu's hand up. Please, can you kindly unmute and ask your question? Over to you, Princess.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, for this very wonderful session. Very, very, in fact, lovely. I don't even know, I'm short of words. But straight to the question, I don't know, there's some ideas that you bring up in the workplace, but your boss, tends to turn it down or turn them down. So how do you push for those ideas to run in the company? Because these are good or great ideas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Very, very important question. Now, I like to say this. Anytime you are coming up with ideas and initiatives, you must be ready that not all the ideas will fly. In other words, if you want an initiative to fly, come up with at least 3 alternatives. You may be lucky, all the 3 will fly, and then even you yourself will now step 1 or 2 down because it may be counterproductive to throw all the 3 to operationalize it at the same time. Now, you need to profile your stakeholders. Who is your line manager? So, for example, I used to have a line manager. No matter how grand or simple the idea is, he wants to see the end-to-end, step-by-step. So you will do like a 2-page concept note, purpose of the initiative, the timing of the initiative, the benefit of the initiative, how you will track the initiative, the cost of the initiative, the opportunity cost of the initiative, how you will do the communication plan for the initiative. When you go through it like that, and then you have 2, 3, 4 options and alternatives, you may not get yes to everything, but sometimes you wear people out when you have overwhelming options. Then to something we say, 5 initiatives, you won't even be able to run with 1 or 2. Again, some no cost, some small cost, some huge cost. Again, depending on, especially the ones that require funding, you will have engaged with your finance team to know that there is cash flow. That will now determine the time you want to do the initiative, if it will cost money. So that's very, very, very important. Okay, be ready for rejection. I like using relationship. It's not necessary as the first girl you ask her that will say yes. You understand? The first initiative may not necessarily get you yes. And don't withdraw. Don't become bitter. Again, ask for feedback. Sir, ma, why did you say no? And listen to it. Sometimes when you listen for the reasons for the no, you may even see that you can modify the same initiative, change 1 or 2 variables and represent, and you get a yes. Or you will even say, okay, what will you propose in this instance? And they will give you 1 or 2 ideas, and people love their ideas. Okay, I hope I've been helpful. I think I saw a question in the chat box too. Somebody asked.
We have 3 questions.
Oh, okay. Help me read them out so that I don't miss out.
So we have from Isaiah Kende Dada. He says, how can one break the rigid organization culture, mostly in manufacturing companies?
Okay. Again, I work in a manufacturing right now. We do lubricants. Now, manufacturing typically work in shifts. Because they work with the assembly line, they are wired in a certain way. Now, when you need to understand the culture and context of the industry and then of the organization, then you will now plan it. So if I want to do an initiative, the timing matters a lot. I'm going to look at the time and make sure it doesn't affect a shift. So let me give you an example. Some people, for example, if they run 8-hour shifts, I can put an initiative to coincide immediately after a shift so that the people that finish that shift will wait and do it. While work is what? Ongoing. I'll make sure that no matter the initiative I drop, it doesn't affect production or productivity. So I typically run initiatives in batches because I want everybody to do it. So I won't just do, let me give one example now. Maybe I want to do free medical check for my staff. Because I work in manufacturing, I won't do it one time. Because if I do it one time, all the staff that are on shift will miss out. So which means I will have brokered with the HMO that you will come 3 times. In the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. So either you will send 3 teams or your team will be ready to wait. So it's very, very, very important. Then look for what we call quick wins. You see, let me just give an example. If you have young boys in your team and you put football, it will sell. You won't beg boys to wait behind to play the ball. So don't go and put an initiative that let's read a book. You will do those ones later. Look for the fun initiative, and then you now infuse this book thing inside the football. Do you understand? You have to be strategic. Let's move on to the next question before we come
Thank
to
you very much, sir.
whose answer how.
Understand your stakeholders, really important. Moturayo, your hand is raised. Let's hear from you before we go back to the chat. Over to you, Moturayo. Kindly unmute and ask your question. Thank you. Moturayo, are you here?
I can see a comment from my governor. She says,
Hello.
what about the girls in the team? Go
Good
ahead,
evening.
Moturayo.
Hello, Moturayo.
Thank you.
Good evening, we can
Thank
hear
you
you.
so
Go
much
ahead.
for this section, and I'm glad I'm here. Thank you. Thank you. So my question goes thus that, how do you promote HR initiative in an organization where the employees have lost total faith and trust in the leadership?
Lost total hope, right? We lost you for a minute. Or
Lost total faith and hope. She said lost total faith and hope in the leadership.
I understand where she's coming from. So there are multiple approaches to this. Those who know me know I can be blunt. Sometimes when you have a situation why people have lost hope, you need to find out why. However, some of the things you can do, if you can inject some fresh blood into the organization, people who are young and vibrant, and as you are bringing them in, you launch initiative and run it with them. They will be looking at it with skepticism, but success attracts success. Again, another thing is that you too may be plotting your exit from that organization. Any organization that will not respond to your wisdom does not deserve your presence. It will be like you're trying to plant an apple tree in Lagos. Go to Jos or wherever the soil is conducive for your kind of plants. Okay? Because if you identify the root cause, if you cannot fix it, there's no reason to fix the symptoms if you can't fix the root cause. But the truth is, if you're able to get some funding from the organization and you incentivize some of your, what do you call it, initiatives. So imagine you do an interdepartmental dancing competition and then the team that wins, you give them 25,000 naira. Even if people don't like the organization, 25,000 naira can still buy 15 liters of fuel. You will see the reaction it will cause. So the employees have lost hope. My question to you, as the owners lost hope too, if they've not lost hope, they'll be able to part with some money to ginger the swagger of the team. Please, don't lose hope. Rather than lose hope, change your hope lane. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you answered part of this question, but there's a part B. So Adeni Helawal says, how do you convince a boss who is not big on initiatives for employees to agree to fund intensive initiatives? So I think it's the fun part that she's worried about.
You see, the first thing to do, there's something we call pilot. In other words, you do something at a very small scale. Most of the time, if you can do something at a small scale, you probably can do it at zero cost or at a cost, but it will be you are leveraging on existing and available resources within the organization. You need to demonstrate results. Now, I used to work in a particular organization and I wanted to do something and I couldn't get my line managers buy-in from a funding perspective. Then I did something for free. The CEO stumbled upon it, sat in the thing, enjoyed it, and the CEO now turned it to a departmental initiative. Something that started as an individual initiative now became an instruction from the CEO. Again, profile your management team. The CEO, CFO, COO, all your HOD. I remember a time I worked in a particular organization. This is just an example. We wanted to do a table tennis tournament. I got one of the executive management to buy and donate the table tennis board and to endow the first tournament. Guess what? It became an organizational program subsequently. So you must look for a way to crack the first attempt. Look inward, revise the thing. It can be, let me give you an example, again, using sports. This is just an example. You can tell staff that come with your card games, board games, and that Friday you play it together. You won't spend any money. The staff already have the Scrabble at home, the Ludo at home, the Ayuokun at home. So don't always start from how to spend money. When people see traction and see results, imagine you can say, let's buy one treadmill. You don't have to equip the entire gym. Buy one treadmill, put it somewhere, and people will begin to what? Let me give you one initiative we did one time. We had, our head office was 5 or 6 floors. We had a day that we used to shut down the staircase. We called it Use the Stairs campaign. So what were we shutting down? We were shutting down the lifts. Everybody, we shut down the lift. We turned it to use the stair. Please, how much money will it cost you to use the staircase? Of course, you see some people say, I'm not going to 5th floor today. I'm not going to 4th floor today. We had a campaign that we did. I can't remember the name we called it, but the concept was we were getting people to walk every day. We now put them into 20 teams of 20 each. And people are going to buy, what do you call that thing, Olushola? This device you put on your hand.
Fitness tracker.
God bless you. Even me, I bought one by myself for myself. Guess what? We started it free of charge. The thing gained traction. At the end of the day, midway into the program, the CEO donated 300,000 naira to the project. There are many things I've started that there was no prize money in the beginning, and it gained so much traction and prize money entered in the middle. But if we didn't start and we were waiting for the prize money to start, we won't get it done. And some of these things now become annual routine that the HRs there don't even know how it was conceptualized. They just inherited it and they are running with it. Okay, so please, there is always something somehow that you can do. Please, there's especially when you brainstorm, there will always be something that you can do. There will always be something.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I hope your questions are answered. We have a question from Charles Anne. He says, what HR initiative will you advise for performance appraisal system in a situation where the CEO does not have the time to appraise the managers?
Okay, I'll give you a very simple initiative. You see, when you do performance appraisal at its best, let me say this. If you don't understand it, please don't misunderstand it. Nobody will need to rate anybody. I'll say it again, and I'll say it slowly. If you really get performance appraisal well, there will be no need. So let me give you an example. This is an academic example. It's just now, if my governor, Emma Clark, wants to determine the success of my facilitation today, the first thing she will look at it, how many people came for this webinar? Please, does she need to rate me? So if the benchmark is 50 participants and she saw 120, no baton. She can also say there can be a metric to, she doesn't need to rate me on how interactive was the program. All we need to do is check the chat box. If we say if you have 50 comments, A, 30 comments, B, so come up with dashboards and metrics, especially around revenue problem. So look at some of the, so if you have a CRM in your organization, if you have an ERP, there will be metrics that these things can generate reports and outcomes. So you will have predetermined with the MD that, oh, what are the criteria? And you will tie all the criteria to things that can be generated from ERP, from finance, from your CRM, and all you just, so you will compute it for him, he will just sign off. So it is only if you give him an information that he wants to say, no, I don't agree, and you will show him the data. You understand? You must make it such that the MD will not need to sign again, especially when it comes to performance appraisal. There is no I'm rating myself, you are rating me. Both of us are being rated by a system. I hope you get what I just shared. The Lord give you understanding.
Amen. Thank you so much for that. Victor Onyeka is asking, what's your strategy for managing rejection, especially when the opportunity cost is huge and the resistance is motivated by self-interest, not organization interest in capital, of those whose buy-ins you need to push through?
So I get where this is coming from. There's what we call vested interest. Sometimes, sadly, the reality is that you may have individuals in organization who are almost working as if they are paid to work against the team. But it may not always work, but engagement and humility helps. No matter how tough somebody may be, sometimes if you go at the right time, emphasis on the right time, you'll be able to bring that person in. I've done some initiatives and built it around people. Maybe I try to find out their interest, something they like, come up with a committee, and then make them the chair of the committee. Or say, oh, you will be the chief judge in this competition or in this campaign, or we will name this campaign after you. Head of supply chain corp. Just look around for something. And it is very difficult for everybody in the organization to be against you. There will be somebody with a listening ear. Again, pay attention. Don't focus on yourself. What you want at the end of the day is an initiative. It doesn't have to be your initiative. So when you listen to executives, they will be giving you vibes. They'll be giving you prompts. When you latch on to their prompts and you work with it, there is a way executives like to support their own ideas. So by the time I've done the CEO's 5 ideas, when I put my own 2, it will enter. You understand? Don't, again, be willing to say, okay, let's go this, let's forgo this, let's forgo this, let's take your own, and you own it. Okay? The worst case scenario, you pray promotion for the person, or the person will not be in a position of influence to determine the success of your initiative. It's also an option. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I trust your question has been answered. We have one here from Taiwo Young. I think this is the last question. Any initiative ideas for an organization still trying to drive a high performance culture? And we're just bouncing back from a financial downturn. That's from Taiwo Young.
Okay. What is just coming to my mind quickly? One of the things that can help drive performance in the typical organization is that, irrespective of the job role of everybody, if you incentivize sales, what do I mean? If any member of staff bring in a client, maybe you say we'll give you 5% of the revenue. It finds a, in addition to, don't now turn it to a negative KPI that will now say 20% of your KPI is sales. So if you don't sell, you will miss 20 marks. No. But if you say, oh, irrespective of what you do, any first time client, customer you bring, you will get 10%. It drives certain performance. So what you will do is that look for things to incentivize. And incentives can be money. It can be lunch with the MD or breakfast with the CEO. It can be 2 additional days off in a month. So don't always make it money. There will be, if you can't drop money, can you give, even if you can't do 1 day off, can you say, okay, half day, that on Friday, the person that with the highest something, we do half day, 1 Friday. Just think around it, okay? Results gives birth to results. Success gives birth to what? To success. So think around it, incentivize it, celebrate it, okay? And continue to engage, brainstorm with the team. Let them know the financial situation of the organization. And as things are improving, let their pay be improving, either their normal standard salary remuneration or things like commission, incentives, bonus, those kind of things. I see Victor Oyeka's hand up. I suggest he has a contribution.
Yes. Victor, kindly unmute and ask your question. I see it in the comment, but if you need to buttress on it, you can just unmute. Over to you, Victor. Victor Oyeka.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. I was trying to meet.
You can go ahead with your question.
All right, thank you. Good evening, or good evening, sir. The question is, you said something on performance management system at its best. What you said is going to take at least me 3 months to really internalize. I know you have given a gold mine, but just like you said, if you will not understand it, if you will not understand it, don't misunderstand it. It's so deep and it's a game changer, but I need you to repeat it again, so I will take it slowly and then continue the reflection and research and building and unbuilding on it. Then the question you asked, you answered initially on my first question. Like I said, I'm totally aware of having to wait even for 3 years. Some things I was begging and selling and pushing in 2018 are only materializing in 2023, and I still feel good. And you have to beg and sell. But once you get to that self-interest, you jam the rock. So there's almost nothing you can get. You have to go and lobby through one person that has enough power to beg the other person or negotiate. Because maybe once you just see Oga's face, it is negative. He is philosophizing. So thank you so much, because what I hear you ask me to do again is more humility and active listening, as well as the initial point you made about it doesn't have to be money. So I think I have to still do more when it comes to creative thinking and let the quality of the initiative do also the funding. Thank you very much. So please, that performance management system formula, Ejo, repeat it again.
I think, Olushola, this can be a good recap of today's program. Victor, one thing I can assure is that the recording will be shared and you can listen either to the entire session or fast forward to certain portion and listen again. I don't want to tell you that I can't remember what I said. You know, I'm speaking off cuff during the Q&A session. So listen again, just move it to the 1 hour mark and play. Me too, I'll listen to this session again. I'll show you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeosun. Thank you so much wisdom. I can see Victor saying thank you, sir. Please, the recording of this session will be shared in our various groups. So be rest assured you get that opportunity to listen, reflect, and then just look for ways to ask your questions and do your own research further. Before we close out to this evening's learning session, I would like to give our president, Emma Clark, the opportunity to just speak to us and give us our closing remark before we close out tonight. Over to you, Emma.
Thank you so much for this amazing session. I mean, it's been a masterclass for us.
Hello, Emma. We're struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Getting better. It's getting better. Still faint, but better.
It's still faint, but better. Okay, so why don't you round off if I'm having sound problems? Just round off, okay? Round off. You can't hear me.
All right.
Go ahead and round off.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's a pleasure to say a very big thank you to Yemi, to Shola, and to every single person who has invested a minimum of 1 hour, 15 minutes just to gain knowledge from our speaker today. This is the essence of the community groups, to share, to uplift, to encourage. And I hope that as much as we have enjoyed the session, you have also done the same thing. This Table Talk or Leadership series runs twice every week, Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'd like to implore you to join us same time next week on Tuesday and on Friday, and we'll have much more cooking for you to eat. Like Emma said at the first session, we will cook and feed you very well. By the time you will leave this session, you will all be Orobo. Intellectual, emotional, spiritual Orobos. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. God bless you. Shola, over to you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can
Yes, we
hear
can.
you.
Yes,
All right.
we
I
can.
know. I know what was causing the problem. I was using my headphones, and once that happens, the sound goes anywhere else. So thank you so much, Inkem, for that lovely round off. I just wanted to come on personally to say thank you to Yemi. Yemi, I made a very big mistake. So when you go to your chat box, you will see that I've sent you a message, or WhatsApp message. You'll see that I sent you a message. So I'm apologizing for that. You will understand when you see that WhatsApp message, okay? But I wanted to come on to say thank you. I know how busy you are. I know how busy all the leaders are in this group, but you took the time to come and share with the entire community valuable gems. This was a master class. I was just sitting down and I was just reading, and I was just listening, and I said, look, I'm going to listen to this over and over again and steal some of your copyrights if you do not mind, because I mean, if I paid for this, honestly, you can't pay for this kind of session. So it was just amazing. And I hope that everyone here took something from it, and you go back to your offices and you put all of these things into action. So thank you so, so much. It's going to be a very busy weekend. There's so many programs that are going to be on. I think there are at least 3 programs that have been advertised. So please try and make the programs. Remember what we're here to do. We're here to learn. We're here to engage. We're here to connect. All right. So please keep coming. All right. Remember what I said when we first started. If you keep taking and you don't give, you're going to end up extremely fat. All right. So we're happy about what Inkem said about the Orobo part of it. We also want to start seeing you give back to the community. All right. So thank you so much. And take care of yourself. Emma is out. God bless. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, everyone. Wonderful evening. And thank you to our amazing speaker, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great and restful weekend, everyone. Bye, everyone. And please go and engage in your groups. Share your learnings from tonight's session. Share it within the group and just reflect and engage, and ensure your initiatives keep coming in your various groups. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed evening. Thank you. Bye.